We are back with another episode. I haven't been as consistent with recording, which has made my producer very upset with me. Very, very upset, where she's thinking about firing me and replacing me with our friend Robert on the show.
That would not be
So
my number one choice.
that would be my number one choice. It would be definitely my number one. He wants to come on the show, so.
hmm
Anyway, we finished the walking challenge as of yesterday. I actually still wore my watch today so I could show you guys how many steps I got, and it reset itself. I'm definitely not at 378. I did a baby CPR thing, and when I was showing, because then it's in this position, I've realized if you hold the button, it resets. And so there was one day that that did happen, and I showed, I think it's like 0 steps, and it's like, okay, guys, it's like 10:37. I'm at work. There's no way I got 0 steps. So I do want to bring to light that these watches aren't 100% accurate, and I do think I actually had some technical difficulty. So we'll get into that. But yeah, we're done the challenge, and we wanted to announce winners and thank people for joining and reflect and obviously give some teasers for the next challenge. And then on top of that, it's also just a learning experience for us. So if you're listening to this and you give us any feedback, maybe we can toss you like a little something like a 1 hour mini pack or just a consultation call or something like that. Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good deal, just for
yeah,
bits
yeah,
of feedback that will help make future
yeah.
challenges better.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I help you, you help me. But I appreciate everybody who joined, and if you were thinking about joining but you just didn't, or even someone like my mom who was basically joining from the sidelines, it still helped. And you know what's crazy is like most of her days she'd like, oh yeah, I'm at 16,000. Why aren't you doing the challenge? Well, I didn't know because of my knee, and we were traveling for the first couple days, and she's getting knee surgery in 2 days, and I think last week on average she was getting like 13, 16,000 steps.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. So anywho, I first want to just mention kind of my thoughts around it, and then maybe you have questions off of that. This was harder than I thought it would be. Like for me personally, I think of myself as a relatively active person. I barely sat at a desk all day today. I did have to do a bit of driving, maybe about an hour and a half of driving. I saw 5 in-person clients. And my point today was I was only at 6,000 steps when it reset. I was like, okay, 5 in person. It's very different than online like this. And I don't think my watch actually tracks when I do little pacing. Like if I'm stepping and
hmm
I'm not actually walking, it doesn't pick up. You have to actually be walking. So I think that's why when I'm teaching or doing some like client work, it doesn't pick up nearly as much. I remember being at F45 and I would get like 3,000 steps in one class. At Temple, it was closer to 2,000. It's a busier class, but even then, I'm like, okay, maybe the watch isn't as good. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on like the tracking and how accurate it was.
I really used my phone to track, which I realized then was not the smartest decision. When I'm teaching, I don't carry my phone around with me. I use it for timers, so oftentimes I will carry it from my desk to somewhere and then leave it somewhere, just because it feels strange to walk around with it in my pocket all the time. And I have a watch sitting in my drawer that does track my steps that I should have just been wearing the whole time. So tracking was definitely a bit hard. Really, though, it was nice that the boxes were easy enough that those weren't then a challenge to get some of those things done. Well,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the exception of the step count one. That one was hard for me.
Yeah, well, the only one I didn't officially get, maybe two. The beat my own step count because you wanted it to 30 and then you said, okay, 25. There was only one day I got over 21. It was the day after I rolled my ankle, funny enough. Did I tell you I rolled my ankle?
No?
Yeah,
How
I
did
was
you miss
playing that.
telling me that?
I I didn't post it in the group chat because I didn't want my mom to worry, but like literally like 10 days ago, no, it'd be 2 weeks on Wednesday. So 11 days ago, I was playing basketball with Zane and I stepped on his foot and it gave out and like it bruised and a little swollen. And then the next day I had to drop my car off and I ran into Katie and I got the walking in with Katie, which is funny enough. And then like I ended up getting like 21,000 steps the day after I rolled my ankle, which I think is hilarious.
Wow.
And the day of rolling my ankle, I was at 12 and I got up to 15 just so I could, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to get to 15. And then the next day, I'm like, shit, it actually doesn't feel that bad. I got to walk a lot. Let's see how it feels. So just, I think that's hilarious in that sense. Still a little
hmm
bruised, but it's not too bad.
That's
You
good.
wouldn't know. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I've
also
never
why
rolled my ankle before.
actually,
No, I rolled my ankle at your house.
well, no, I mean,
I
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
know that
know
it's
that I
bruised.
yeah, that
Okay.
I rolled it. So, but yeah, again, that wasn't actually that much of a hurdle. I thought it would be. And I was like, shit, okay. But no, like the the hardest part I think was the watch wasn't 100% accurate. I'm not as used with watches. Once or twice I forgot to put it on right away, or for like the whole day, and then I'm just out of the house. I think there are lots of takeaways, though, in a nutshell, but let's be more organized with how I'm going to talk about it. And I know you got some really good questions. So, yeah.
All right. Do you want to dive into questions? Or, like, here's the thing. So, for listeners, Nick sent me a little bit of a hey, for the Reflection podcast, I'm thinking we could talk about this, 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 and this. And so then I wrote out notes along those lines. I wasn't expecting the hardest part to be talking about steps, so I have other notes about what I found to be difficult during this
Okay.
challenge. But I figured that those are kind of the big things that would be nice to go through. But if you want a question first, because I always plan more than I need. So we can
You
start with
can
a question.
you can tell me what else you found was really hard about the challenge.
I thought that getting participants and then creating engaging posts, because for a long time the Trainer's Wisdom Instagram was really just advertising your podcasts, which is great, and I found that I was really creative with those. But then for the walking ones, I just didn't have as many ideas on what to do. So then I found that, like, I think that we could have gotten more participants if it was more engaging, like those commercials that you filmed, but maybe doing them sooner and earlier. So mhm.
I was gonna say the actual challenge. What did you find hard about it? Not the planning of the challenge.
Yeah, see, that's where in your message it didn't come through. And for some reason you felt not to talk about that before we started recording. So that's
That's
fine.
okay.
But that kind of leads into then goals for next time. We could just
Hmm.
kind of get that out of the way then, right away. Because for me, one of them is more promotion and earlier promotion. We had already talked about trying to get more flyers up at coffee shops and trying to even I think some of it is just going places and talking to people about it. I would also plug Sarah's idea here. She was thinking about something for Chris and retired athletics, but she had said things like t-shirts so that if people feel confident enough to ask you about it, like it could be like a walk with Nick or like a walking challenge type thing. That way people would ask about it, and then it's easier engagement for them or an easier opening for them to get involved. Our flyers with the QR code were fine, and it included all the information you would need to know for the challenge, but it's just that some people are really not comfortable scanning random QR codes.
And that's fair. That's fair. I think, like you mentioned with coffee shops and getting there, one of the problems was like me just kind of getting back into the country. I had 3 weeks before the walking challenge started, getting life organized, and then you always think you have more time before the actual event of anything that you do, if that makes sense. So you mentioning getting ahead of it, then getting ahead of it can mean sometimes for me months ahead rather than just like a week, week and a half, if that makes sense.
Right. And this one, I was involved from the beginning, like kind of when you reached out about the bingo sheet itself. But then the promotion piece, I didn't do much other than put some flyers up on some
Which
mailboxes.
is still
Right.
infinitely more than my mom.
But your mom wasn't in charge of running it or planning it.
I know, I know.
But those would be things like I love going to coffee shops. So
Hmm.
I could have put more up there, or things like going out to different markets, right? But that's perfect for the end of the summer
August.
to start going
Yeah.
out and doing things then to promote
Yeah.
something in the fall.
I think it would be best week 2 of September because first week, you're a teacher. There's Labor Day. There's people last bit of holidays. They want to get started with school. So I think the second week is like a good week to get started, and then it gives us a good chunk of August and the start of September to promote it. There's also nothing that means it has to be then a month. It can also just be 4 weeks, which can be different. And I think I told you about the idea of it being more like as a passport scavenger hunt instead of just straight up bingo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this is and I would have it pre-planned, but you don't know what week 2, week 3, and week 4 are going to be. Here's your task for week 1. and then get as much as you can get done for that said week. And then week 2, it's a little harder. Week 3, a little harder. Week 4, a little harder. And I think kind of titrating it like that, and then that way it's constant engagement, I think would also help as well.
Yeah, that's funny because one of my goals that I wrote down for next time was also more random bonus challenges. Instead of front loading it with here's all the ways you can get bonus points, throwing things out. Or even like this challenge being 30 boxes in 31 days. We had 2 people who finished and submitted their card before the 31st. So then they had a free day, but we didn't have anything for them, right?
Fair enough. You could have just... I didn't know that. So I would have said, hey, cool, can you get to 25,000 steps or 30 steps, 30,000? Or can you see how many you can do in one day just for fun? Or even pit them against one another and be like, hey, how many can you do again? And how many can you do again on the last day? And then I'll give a bonus point to whoever gets the most out of the 2 of you, which is also fine if it's like a free day.
Yeah, but doing it then as a 4-week challenge and more of a scavenger hunt. There is not a limited number of boxes, and it gives us endless possibilities to throw out new ideas and new challenges that even we can come up with last minute. As much as I like to be prepared, it's nice to have a spontaneous idea as well.
Yeah. I think a scavenger hunt would be different and unique. So if any listeners, this is the 3rd iteration of Walking Bingo, and it's not that that's a problem. It's just how can we do other games and other challenges and other activities to engage people with walking? Because people really, I think, need to gamify certain things. Have you ever heard of the Walk to Mordor challenge or no?
No.
So you've seen Lord of the Rings or no?
No.
Okay. Do you know what Lord of the Rings is? Let me start with that. What is Lord of the Rings?
It's some sort of adventure kind of story.
I'm going to make Rob listen to this.
Where they're on the hunt to return or find a ring or something like that. And that all 3 of the movies are 9 hours or something.
And yet they're walking, they're hobbits, they're walking to get the ring to Mordor. And it's a journey. And the total distance, technically in the book, is 2,863 kilometers. And there's an actual challenge app where your job is to walk to Mordor and you see how many months it takes you, which is hilarious. And I think Rob said it's like usually like 6 months.
Wow.
And it gives you different things like, oh, you've now walked out of the Shire, which is like their home. Okay, you've walked to this part. Okay, you've walked to this part. And basically, if you average, they say 10,000 steps a day, you'll basically beat the journey in about a year.
Okay.
And so then many people go into little groups and they try to see who can get to Mordor faster, right? And so I just think it's hilarious that it's like this year-long challenge. I don't think we could do that. I'm just using that as an example of like that's a very unique thing, and I think people would lose interest really quick, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Related to that, you did have a podcast once that you were talking about marathons and where the word marathon came from.
Yeah.
And that it came from the distance. I don't remember all of the specifics, right? But there was the idea that like you had to walk that distance. And so even trying to incorporate something like that could be interesting because then it ties back to things you've already talked about.
It was when the Persians were invading the Greeks. It's what the movie 300's based off of. And then the guy that came back to Athens ran from Marathon, and that's why it's called a marathon, because of the distance. But yes.
Cool. Thanks for the summary.
Yeah. But no, I think finding different ways to be engaging. I found some of the other challenges were a little bit more engaging with photos too, which I know. You're shaking
That was your
head.
mistake.
Yeah.
You told people don't use the group chat, but I think we should have used it to celebrate just what we were accomplishing and encourage people to just send photos. We don't want the bingo sheet every day. We don't want lots of like summaries of what you're doing. But I think the way that it was worded made it sound like don't send things here.
And I think that's where if it's a scavenger hunt, like even something as simple as you have to find 3 dogs today on your walk. And you just boom, 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 you send it, and then that's the challenge, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
something as simple as that. Yeah.
So I do love the scavenger hunt idea, and that
Yeah.
would be if listeners have other things that we could add to the scavenger hunt. That would be
Yeah.
wonderful to know.
We'll come up with lots of ideas, but well, definitely something along the lines of that. And yeah, I agree. Getting more participation, I think, makes it fun and engaging and keeps people going. Although, how many people overall were fairly engaged? Did anybody fall off where they were engaged and then you just never heard from them again? Because I've had that before.
I had one who I would describe like that, and then really there was four consistent ones where they were sending daily progress just due to previous challenges. They were like, I'm in
Okay.
this habit, and I really appreciated it. That was the one of the most enjoyable things for me, was being able to see everybody's achievements and be able to, like, I sent lots of clapping emojis because I was excited to see them. So that was nice. Most of my points on your ideas were from the planning perspective, but it was nice to see from those four people regular updates. And then there was just one who was kind of hit or miss at the beginning, and then I hadn't heard from them again. But based on other posts that I've seen from them, they've still been out walking, out and about, just maybe not participating in the challenge to the fullest extent anymore.
And I had clients that were doing that said, "Hey, I'm not participating, but like I am out walking more." I'm like, "That's great." So I think the inspiration for to get others to get out and walk more, that's all what matters. And what are any other lessons that we might have learned from I hear Daisy chewing.
Yeah, sorry.
And that's okay. What are any other lessons that we learned from this whole ordeal? Because it was a long month. Let's be real. It was a long month.
Yeah, I think I learned that reaching step counts can be challenging.
Hmm.
That meeting new people and building a community is the key to success for this. And I do wish that more people had come out to join us for walks in Victoria Park or just little meet and greets, right? Retired athletics would have been really nice to have a crew going around the track. That could have, and it maybe in the future becomes its own little bonus challenge, right? Come out to the track today and we'll see who walks the most laps or something along those lines.
Yeah. It
I don't
can get
know.
tricky like that. And Nick came out and had a good walk with me at Retired Athletics. Jen came out and had a good walk with us. Well, kind of a walk, a meet and greet at the Victoria Park. Some other people came to the walking first mobility thing at Temple, but then her dog also got hurt and then she kind of fell off. But
Mhm.
yeah, how do you think Daisy enjoyed the walking challenge?
I think she liked it. I mean, she's reaching the perfect age now that she would like to go for more walks. And I'm very happy that it's now and not in the winter time, because at least it gives me some time to adapt to the frequency of the walks so that when winter comes, I'm prepared for the cold weather. But right now, it was if I needed to get an extra 1,000 steps, that was easy because I now know the certain blocks in my area that will get me 500, 1,000, 2,000 steps. So that was nice. And as long as the weather's not too hot, she manages just fine. And it's usually a good way to wear her out also. So then I was able to get back on the Instagram and then respond to people and start tracking in the spreadsheet, which was really easy because it was just adding numbers and it was auto programmed to calculate. But it's still time and effort put in on my end. So it was nice that way. And then Daisy just got lots of walking out of it. So I think we're in a good position for the summertime to continue.
I don't know if you feel the same. There was a lot of evenings where I'm done work, done life, and I'm like, oh, I technically got my thing that I needed to do for the day, but because I'm posting my daily step count, I would feel embarrassed. I'm like, okay, it's like 8,000 steps. You can do better. So there was a lot of evenings I would take Motzi out for bonus walks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just maybe me always feeling the pressure, like, oh, you got to get X amount of steps. And that's why it's like crazy, where it's like, how do I only have this many steps? I've been on my feet all day, right?
Right.
Which again, not
I
that
would
that's
love
the only thing. What were you gonna say?
I would have just loved to do more dog walks and with other people, right? Because that could have been fun as long as the dogs get along. But getting out and about with a bigger group would have been fun.
And
But
again, that's a great passport idea where it's like, hey, you have to meet up with two people who also have dogs for a walk, whether it's at the same time or at different times, whether they're in the challenge or not in the challenge, right? Like something as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a dog, you meet a friend that has a dog. And
Right.
yeah, little
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So, any other final bits? You had a wish and a what'd you call it?
It was 2 stars and a wish. But before we do that, did you have something that surprised you the most out of the challenge? I had one. Your recipes, sorry to interrupt. Your recipes had really, really good feedback. Not that I was not expecting them to, but the fact that when people made them and shared it and shared what they changed, they said it was amazing and that they definitely make it again, or it was nice to see the additions they made. And I was just impressed because it was a suggestion, but nobody had to follow those recipes. And it seems like the 4 people who were sending them to me all made your recipe. So that was nice to see.
I got good feedback with that food challenge with the recipe ideas in it. So that also would be the next challenge. Whether we do it in a bingo or in a different way, maybe we'll think about that off script a bit. That would have to be a summer thing.
Yeah, I feel like we'll stray away from bingo, but another sort of fun game
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as long as other weeks too. Maybe it's as simple as like even challenges that can be 2 week sprints sometimes can be like a good sort of thing. So we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that's interesting actually. The biggest thing that surprised me, I think it's just coming back to like I think that I walk so much more than maybe that what I'm actually doing. I'd love to actually get my smartwatch versus like a traditional pedometer. Because sometimes I'm looking at this and I was pacing the house and it wouldn't move up. And then I'd look away and then it would go up like 15 steps. I'm like, what are you doing? And then other times it would go 2 at a time. And I'm like, okay, like that makes more sense. So I'd love to like test out or even wear 2 different watches, right? Or a watch and a pedometer. I think that would be interesting. The other thing would just surprise me is how good you always forget how nice it feels to go for a walk in the sun. And once we started getting some good weather, it's like, oh yeah, it's not a surprise that my mood's so much better and I'm getting more tanned and just getting out and about. I think the other thing that's not this a surprise, but I just really hope people keep up the habit now that it's summertime. Get outside, fresh air, sunshine, get your steps in, get your walking in, gamify it, find fun things to do on your walks. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we can talk about 2 stars and a wish. So
Yeah.
2 stars and a wish is 2 things that really shined about the challenge or that you're happy about with the challenge, and then a wish for next time.
Okay, so Kelsey is the first star. Without Kelsey, it wouldn't have been uber organized, and she puts up with my forgetfulness and disorganization. So that for sure would be like one of the 2 stars. The other stars, just anybody who participated and took like you're spending your time listening to what I have to say, and I'm internally grateful for people who do trust me with these sort of things and participate. To me, that's more than anything. This is free. I'm trying to do this for fun. I'm trying to get people active and moving and trying to come up with fun, creative ways. And it's not always going to be pretty. It's just a matter of like getting it out there. I wish we had more people who did participate. It is a big group chat, but I know a lot of people put it on mute. They forget about it. And so I wish more people maybe just were like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And then it's like, if they actually did it, they would enjoy it. It's just taking that first step. So I wish more people just said, fuck it, and actually took that first initial step when doing these sort of challenges. And I wish more people would do these sustainable challenges versus they're looking for that quick fix of the weight loss style challenges.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Even just saying that having it be a month long is a long time. That if we made it even something like 3 weeks where you can't necessarily fill out the whole card, you have to be a little bit more strategic with what boxes you fill out. Because it was nice to reward people with bonus points for finishing a row or a column first. But then by the end, everyone was kind of evening out with points with the fact that they were all choosing different rows. Whereas it would be nice if we kind of went, these boxes went unclaimed with this challenge. So
That's an interesting concept. I think it takes as you know, it takes a lot to organize a challenge. And the cool thing about it is you can always tinker, experiment, I'm gonna keep. Whether you decide to continue, I wouldn't say offensive. If you're like, oh, I'm too busy, I can't help it with this one. Whether you stay or not, I'm just gonna be keep doing probably 2 to 3 walking challenges a year. They don't all have to be long. They don't have to be crazy, but just tinkering with different ideas. It's easy, even if it's just me and one person. That's cool. That's fine, right? So I'm always gonna do the walking challenges.
Yep. I did like the one that you did where it was like a progression competition against yourself. And there is a way to gamify that also, right? Even if you turn that, if we were sticking with bingo, could be a whole column, is that you just beat yourself from earlier in the challenge, or you hit your personal best in steps, right? Like there is a way to make it then less competitive with others and more competitive with yourself, but for the sake of building healthy habits and setting a good routine. For me, I really liked even realizing I don't walk with music or audiobooks or podcasts very often because I feel like I need to be aware of what's around me. And as much as taking in nature is really exciting, sometimes it was nice to be able to focus on something else and just walk mindlessly. And then I got more steps, or I did an extra loop somewhere just because, I really want to finish this podcast while I'm walking because as soon as I get home, I don't want to have my headphones in my ear just listening to this. So it almost made me walk more.
Good. And you wish Nick was more organized.
If anything, I learned more about you after this challenge. In the other ones, I was kind of just along for the ride. Every other podcast endeavor we've gone on has not really been as collaborative as this one. And so I learned a little bit about you. So even things like trying to set deadlines, I need to follow up on before the deadline comes, rather than wait for you to miss it and then say, hey, I think I was supposed to send you stuff. And then I get annoyed because, you obviously forgot. Or being a little bit more clear on, hey, read through this and give me some feedback instead of afterwards when you're hearing it from other people. So my wish isn't even necessarily for you to do better. It would be for me to figure out my vision and my part in it and how much I should really be either letting go and just going along with whatever you're doing or pursuing my vision with the challenge.
And it's gonna be trial and error. I'm very much go with the flow, and there can be lots of structure. Just in general, I'm always thinking, how can we simplify things? How can we keep it simple? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Even the questions for today, you had a lot of questions. Obviously, we went through most of them. Probably, if there's any more and we want to answer it, great. But I think even just when we were talking about going back to the podcasting episode or other just life endeavors, anytime we can simplify something for someone, I think that's like a great entrepreneurship mindset. And so like, how can you simplify walking for people? It's not as simple as just go for a walk because people need targets and they need challenges. But I think giving them an activity that's extremely simple yet engaging would be a great product and or service. And I think that we're on to something in that regards. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I feel like that's a subtle jab at the rules being so long by keeping it simple. But the purpose behind that was because if we do want sponsorships or people to get involved next time, there are people who want to know all the information up front before they agree to something. And that's where it was made for. Or for businesses that, hey, we're running this thing. If they were to look into it and the only source that they have is a few random Instagram posts, that doesn't look as like we've put in the time and the effort to run something. Whereas, oh my gosh, there's a 5-page document with all of the information. I feel just sometimes looks a little bit more professional. Do you know what I mean? Not that what you're doing isn't, but you've already built a network that is used to the simple. I'm hoping to reach the network that we don't know personally and that don't feel like they don't have enough information to participate. So I think, if anything, that rule sheet will come in handy for future challenges, even if none of our regular listeners or participants are going through it.
Fair enough. With that being said, if you would love to be a sponsor on the show or for the next challenges, please contact my producer at Kelsey Sharp. I actually don't know what your ad is.
My personal one is Kels with 3 S's _
That's too
Sharp.
complicated.
Then just at Trainer's Wisdom, because
There we go.
Perfect.
There we go.
But sponsorships would be great. What we had thought of after we distributed all the bingo sheets is that's where sponsorships go. right? Putting a little logo on the bottom, telling people that you were involved or at least interested, or a welcoming space that if people, needed something like running shoes, they know where to go. They need something like a smoothie drink, they know where to go. And just things like that. So that is something that we will plan for next time, is try to approach these people before we've created everything as a final design.
Hey, there's a business idea, a running shoe store that also sells smoothies.
I feel like that has to already exist.
Anyway, I'll let you go. I'm getting sleepy. It's almost my bedtime. It's 11 or 8:11.
All right, well, you can't leave before we announce the winners.
I can actually. I'm kidding. You're right.
And yeah, okay, so
First one.
So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
All right, so the grand prize winner of Nick's starter pack is Nick.
It's a different Nick.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Nick other than that he sent me photos through every challenge, multiple photos for every box. He got the highest number of points. He's even went above and beyond with, what did he do on the very last day? An accidental triathlon. So then I got a screenshot of the 4 different activities. I know a triathlon is 3, but he had done 4 things. And it involved biking and swimming and running. And so that was just kind of cool to see that he took it a step further just because it's his own life. But then it feels nice that he is the grand winner because of his extreme involvement and sharing of his achievements, I guess.
Yeah, he was pretty consistent. I ran into him at the sauna a couple times. He went on that little walk with me. We had a good walk and talk.
Yes, thank goodness for him, because then you could check off the walk with Nick box.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. Congratulations, Nick, and I'll be in touch with him.
Perfect. And our second and third place winners get the choice of choosing a gift card. The gift cards are either for Lululemon, Vincenzo's, a supplement store of your choice, the running room, or credit with Nick Fody himself for a training session or anything along those lines. But winner number 2 for $50 is Katie, who is also very active in the challenge and was sending photos every day. So congratulations to Katie. And then third place for a $25 gift card is Jen. And so Jen, I was really happy to meet at the park, and Jen was also a regular sharer of all of her activities.
I don't know about you, Kelsey. I would pick the Vincenzo's gift.
It is a pretty great choice because you can get a little bit of everything at Vincenzo's.
And a sandwich.
There we go. So congratulations also to Jen. But Katie and Jen will need to message Nick and let them know where they'd like their gift card for.
And I will reach out to them too as well.
Perfect. And if they don't happen to listen to the podcast today, we will be uploading to the Instagram by Wednesday. Might be tomorrow.
I think this podcast will get put up on Wednesday. I'm trying to titrate podcasts because I don't always want back to back to back because I'm not as consistent, because it doesn't make sense to go 1, 2, 3 off for 7 days.
Next time.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's okay. I'll put, because as soon as this is done, I'm just going to bed. Tomorrow's Tuesday. It's a busy day. If I can upload it, I like to upload in the morning of the next day. So this will probably go up on Wednesday.
So not what we talked about the other day, but that's fine. Lessons for next time.
Doesn't matter.
No, but I wanted them to find out here. And my rule sheet said that we were going to let them know by Wednesday.
Well, it will be up on Wednesday, so it's fine. I'll just tell them to listen for their announcement.
Fine. But congratulations, Nick, Katie, and Jen. It was a pleasure this entire time. Thank you for participating.
And thank you, Kelsey, for all your hard work and putting up with my shenanigans. And thank you for everybody who took the time to listen and participate. And I hope you had some great takeaways with it too. I'd love to hear any feedback, whether it's in the comments, trainer's wisdom. And I appreciate you, Jen, as well, for leaving that little Google review. If you have not left Google reviews, this would be the time to do it, whether it's on the podcast, about the podcast, follow on the podcast, follow on Instagram, leave a Google review. Basically, it's just my name, but I know there's links on the thing as well. And yeah, have you left me a Google review yet, Kelsey?
Hold on, I wanted to say thank you to Nick for also organizing, leading this challenge, and just leading by example, right? You were out and about doing something every day, and even through this podcast, you said that you went out to get extra steps just to encourage people to aim a little bit higher when they wanted to beat yours. So thank you for your dedication to this and being a great leader.
Have you left me a Google review yet?
I guess I know what I'm doing after this.
You can be like, I listened to his podcast. It's phenomenal. I also go to his mobility class. It's amazing. And there
I've
we
never
go.
left a Google review for anything, so
So there we go.
I guess
There we
that's
go.
it. You're up.
All right. A 20-minute podcast turns to 37. So I am going to dip out. I'm tired. Thank you so much. Goodbye, Daisy and Kelsey.
Bye, Nick. Thanks.
Toodles.